You ever have that ex that you just can't stop thinking about? You experiment, you try other things, but you just can't shake that one. The performance, we'll say, was just too good, and the way it all felt in your hands was just the best. You can't stop thinking about it. Does your wife know you're talking about a mouse? What's up, guys? I'm randomfrankp, and yes, we are talking about gaming mice. Of course. And today, we're gonna be talking about the Razer Viper Ultimate and why I keep finding my way back to this. And also, we have some leaks about the Razer Viper V2 Pro, with the release of that seemingly right around the corner. But for now, I want to start off with some of the changes and little modifications I've made to the Viper Ultimate that really just brought me back home. So real quick, just give you a bit of my dating history, or mouse history, I mean, so you can get where I'm coming from. I, as most of you know, was a longtime lover of the G502. Both wired to the wireless, that was my main, and I still love it. But then the Model O came out, and that was just really groundbreaking for the market. And then the Viper Ultimate released, and I was in love. I used that all the way up until I started experimenting with other mice. I mained the SteelSeries Prime for a month or so. That was a great mouse. I then really loved the Aerox wireless, especially their Ghost version. I mained that for around 3 or 4 months. Then more recently, Logitech and Shroud's G303. But I kept finding myself grabbing the Viper Ultimate whenever I had to recharge a mouse. I think the big thing for me really is the shape. It's just so really user-friendly, and it's ergonomic in the sense of the way that it's designed. However, obviously, in the mouse market, these shapes are named differently, so technically it's an ambidextrous mouse. You get what I'm saying? Just the way it feels in your hand is so natural, and when it came to gaming, I felt that I was doing my absolute best whenever I would use the Viper Ultimate. Also, when this released at 74 grams at the end of 2019, that was really light for a wireless mouse like this. I know nowadays 74 grams isn't mind-blowing, but 2-3 years ago, that was insane for a wireless release. So to kind of rekindle that spark after all these years, I wanted to do some changes and modifications, physically and in terms of the performance, to make it a bit spicier. You'll see underneath I have these green sort of fang skates. I replaced the stock 100% PTFE feet that came on this with the new Pulsar Superglide skates. They are glass and they are the smoothest thing ever. Really, no matter what mouse pad you have, these things just feel like butter. It is the craziest. I've showed these off before. Pulsar's doing some really great and innovative stuff. But yes, these glass Superglide skates on the Viper Ultimate with the green accents and the sort of fangs to cater to the Razer Viper branding, aesthetically is perfect. But man, the performance on here, it is just insane. I typically main the Razer Strider mousepad, which is a really nice hybrid surface. It's the best of both worlds in terms of speed and control, and now using these, it is just, like I said, butter. The biggest thing that I found I had to do was cut down my DPI a bit, just because there's really less friction now. With the glass on that hybrid cloth surface, I felt that lowering from 650 to around 550 was better off, and it helped sort of compensate now for the increased speed and smoothness. But yeah, I can honestly say these mouse feet are a game changer, and they're putting them out for numerous different mice out there. They're releasing them in waves. So if you want to spice up your old mouse, get that spark back again, definitely check these out. You will 100% be shocked. The other little modification I made, you may have picked up on depending on the lighting, is I added this color shifting faded paint to the left and right clicks. I've been doing this to a lot of peripherals behind the scenes, really. I've also got a full keyboard coming up on this as well. But I use this color shifting turquoise and emerald paint. If you're familiar with chameleon paint, it's like that. And now the left and right paddles have this really cool color shifting fade down to it. I did mask off, obviously, like the scroll wheel and the glossy accents on the mouse, as well as the rubberized side grip so it wouldn't get on there. And that's how I achieved this really nice, natural fade look. And again, in certain lighting conditions, whether you look at it, you can turn the mouse around. Depending on the way the light hits it, it'll either be a nice emerald color or turquoise, or a mix of both if you look at it, again, in the right light. I think it looks really cool. I didn't even apply any sort of top coat or a primer finish because the paint itself is really durable. I've been using it for around like a month now. I've had no smudges or cuts or anything into it, and it does just naturally provide a little bit more grip to the tips, which is what I like. So just two little mods that really brought me back to the Viper Ultimate. Again, from October 2019, from when it first released till now, this is still just my go-to mouse. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, there's also been some Razer Viper V2 Pro leaks of an upcoming new version of the mouse, so rather timely that I would find myself gravitating back towards this. And real quick, we'll go over these leaks. They happened overseas, they've since been taken down, but it's all but been confirmed. It's been on Reddit, and a lot of the Razer reps who are active in the mouse subreddit, they've been like, you know, wink wink, this isn't true, which obviously it is. But yes, the Razer V2 Pro, name following suit from like their Death Adder V2 Pro, for example. And real quick, taking a look at the available pictures that were up, in terms of the actual like physical appearance and stuff, it seems that there's no real changes obviously to the physical dimensions. They're now available in both black and white, which we saw on the Viper Ultimate, but now it is like a pure color white, which I like, versus like the white and gray on the original Viper Ultimate. And just real quick, three things stand out to me right away that are, you know, rather obvious. Is one, no side grips. So on the Viper Ultimate, we have the rubberized side grips on both the left and right sides. And it's that nice, like, you know, rubberized knurl texture, which I'm a fan of personally, but believe it or not, 50-50. The community is very torn. You either love them or you hate them. So now to kind of combat that, they seem like they've ditched it completely, but it looks like in the one photo on the box, they are now including optional rubberized side grips that you can just put on. So you get a set of them inside the box for both the left and right sides and both the left and right clicks. So pretty cool to see. And speaking of the sides, we have no more buttons on the right side. So even though it's a typically an ambidextrous mouse, like we said before, not gonna be so much for the left-handed users. So sorry, they're kind of alienating you by getting rid of those. So now instead of having 4 side buttons, we're only gonna have 2 going forward. And also, no RGB. So as we know, the Razer logo on the Viper Ultimate is illuminated here, and it seems they've ditched that, and now it's just that sort of like glossy accent like we saw on some of their previous mice, which honestly I'm completely fine with because your palm covers that area anyways. But no RGB is gonna mean 2 things. Better battery life, and also it's gonna cut down on the weight, which is gonna bring me to arguably one of the biggest changes now with the upcoming V2 Pro. It's down to just 57 grams, it says, versus the Viper Ultimate, which was 74 grams at launch, or still is. And that's gonna bring it also lighter than, I would say, arguably its greatest competitor out there, the G Pro X Superlight. That was 63 grams. So now undercutting it down to just 57 grams, which is gonna be crazy considering the shape really isn't getting smaller. We would all love to see a Viper Mini Ultimate, but same shape, just now significantly lighter at 57 grams. And some other things real quick when talking internals, it seems we have upgraded optical switches, it says. It'll use their Gen 3 optical switches, I believe. And again, these photo leaks are just super low quality, so it's hard to kind of make out a lot of the text and what we're looking at. But I'm curious what the changes will actually be. Are these new optical switches gonna be lighter or clickier? I don't know, only time will tell with that. And also on the bottom of this just pixelated disaster is what looks like the Razer Focus Pro 30K optical sensor. So an upgrade from the Focus Plus sensor, which was 20K DPI. Now it's taken a jump to 30K DPI. Man, does anybody even game higher than like 12,000? You know, for example, like I said, I'm usually between 650 to 550 depending on the mouse. Comment down below, what DPI do you game at? Then lastly, some other things coming to the new V2 Pro. Underneath the mouse physically, we have new mouse skates. I don't believe they're anything like I have here on the Superglides with the glass skates, so I'm not too sure the materials they're gonna be using, although they are rounded off and a bit of a different shape compared to the ones on the original Viper Ultimate. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of differences that's gonna make. With it being rounded, that will give you what I assume is gonna be a more, you know, softer sort of glide. And also underneath, no pogo pin connectors, which means no physical charging dock. Take that for what you will. I, for one, like that convenience of just putting on the dock at night. However, that dock was always hit or miss, so I'm not like over here crying about it, because we also now have USB-C for the charger instead of the ever so dated micro USB on the Viper Ultimate. So happy to see that change going forward, which will then lead me into the question of what this will retail at, since there's no actual dock. When this first launched, it was $150 with the dock, and I believe like $120 or so without it. Prices have since obviously gone down a lot. So will this retail also for $150? Will it be cheaper? Will it still be high because of inflation prices? I don't know, but I'm definitely interested to check out this new, much lighter Viper V2 Pro coming up. Again, the leaks say end of April. Razer reps on Reddit yet again were like, that's not accurate, wink wink. So we will see. But yeah, guys, a little revisit and just why I'm still so drawn to the Viper Ultimate after all these years, especially with news of these leaks coming to light now of an upcoming V2 Pro. So hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, you appreciate the leaks, let me know. Give this video a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a good day.